Hello, Eric Smith, Professor of Rhetoric, founder of Free Black Thought, writer of the wonderful essay, The Loss of the Black Individual. Thank you very much for coming and talking to us, because at Counterweight, we are experiencing over and over again the very problem that you and Free Black Thought have been trying to bring to people's attention. So as a liberal humanist organisation, we are concerned that with viewpoint diversity, with the marketplace of ideas, with everybody being able to express any idea and challenge any idea. Now, what a lot of our Black members and also a lot of our South Asian members are saying to us is that they're not getting access to that marketplace of ideas, because while white people are more often assumed to have a range of ideological views, there's one authentic Black voice or one authentic voice of colour, and anybody who doesn't speak in that voice isn't authentic and shouldn't be listened to. So that's something I think you've addressed at length. How are you're seeing this problem? How does it manifest in the US and with what you're seeing?
Well, to me, it's been manifesting since I was a kid. This is not a new situation. Professionally, however, that answer might be more relevant to what we're talking about. So this is going on in my field and has been for quite some time. There are entire texts that essentialize, the Black intelligentsia in ways that would be questioned, at best, if white people were essentialized in that way in these same texts. Right? So when a couple of people, a handful of scholars claim to speak for 50 million people, for some reason, they're believed. They're seen as having the ethos to pull that off. Obviously, that's not the case. I don't agree that it's the case. The other co-founders of Free Black Thought don't think that's the case. Nevertheless, it keeps going on. In my field particularly, there is a push for what's called Black linguistic consciousness or Black linguistic justice. And this group of people who actually wrote a manifesto called A Demand for Black Linguistic Justice, they put forth the idea that there is a Black consciousness and that all Black people identify with African-American vernacular English in crucial ways, which is to say that if they're not speaking African-American vernacular English, they no longer have a grasp on who they are, right? So that is obviously not the case for all Black people. And I made that case to the powers that be in my field, asking them, if this is what's going to happen, at least acknowledge that Black thought is a misnomer. A particular kind of Black thought is what you're talking about. And you should be explicit about that. And then I'll go away. That didn't happen. So Free Black Thought, which I advertised immediately after that email. Free Black Thought is there to show people that, Black intelligentsia, be that scholars, artists, activists, that is not a monolithic group by any means. And what we have there is, well, letting people know that we are here, right? With an explicit goal to show people how viewpoint diversity is happening within Black communities, right? And secondly, we have a compendium, a list of books, articles, either scholarly or op-eds, podcasts, displaying that diversity of viewpoint within the Black community, specifically, the Black intelligentsia, scholars, artists, activists, and what have you. So that's what we're trying to do to combat this. It's rampant in my field. I'm going to keep pushing that in my field. I'm going to try to do my best to talk about Free Black Thought in conferences in my field for the indefinite future. But hopefully, there are power in numbers. So hopefully other people join and we can really get known.
And how can counterweight help this issue? We get individuals, they're sometimes American, they're sometimes British, Canadian, Australian, almost anywhere in the world, but majority American, followed by UK. And they come to us as individuals and they say, I don't believe this critical social justice version of anti-racism. I am a Christian, or I'm a Muslim, or I'm a libertarian, or I'm a Marxist. How do I express this to my employer? How can I actually get heard apart from the color of my skin and the beliefs that I'm meant to have? How can counterweight help free Black thought, and what would you advise us to advise our clients to do and say?
I'm going to steal a cliche from creative writing professors and say, show, don't tell. And what I mean by that is show the powers that be in your organization Free Black Thought. Show them the compendium. Show them videos of me or other Black thinkers who aren't following the critical social justice script, right? Or are adamantly opposed to the critical social justice script. Let people know that we're out there. Now, you know, there is a tendency to dismiss people of color, specifically Black people, who aren't on board with critical social justice. But there are people out there who explain that they are all for anti-racism, but a different kind of anti-racism. Chloe Valdery is out there. Show them that. Greater Good Science Center has a nice plan. It is an alternative to critical social justice, anti-racism. The Equiano Project, Free Black Thought. So all these places are here and they're available and they are meant to be seen. So let the powers that be see them. That's step one, at least.
Thank you. And what would you say to an individual who was feeling intimidated, who was feeling silenced? How would you encourage them to sort of push forwards?
Know that when people try to silence you or try to demonize you based on race, or judge you because you have a certain race but the wrong opinion, know that the point is to confuse you. The point is to scare you. The point is to make you so afraid to speak up that you don't speak up, and it's easier for them to push their agenda, right? So often, people enter into, let's say, implicit bias training, and they listen to, you know, people berate them for several hours, and they think, well, this must be the way we have to do things, right? They're not doing this because they're mean. They're doing this because this is the way toward a truly equitable society. That's not the case. So know that, and also know that they are explicitly trying to silence you, because they realize that they don't make as much sense as they claim to, right? Their ideas don't hold up to scrutiny. And anybody who suggests that needs to be silenced. So know that.
Thank you. Thank you very much for contributing. That's been wonderful. And I suppose I should have expected a professor of rhetoric to be that eloquent. So yeah, beautiful.